Welcome back to Super Tuesday Recap. It is Kriss and Dpalm here. And we're here with our double review of Legend of Tomorrow and Arrow. We're doing Legend of Tomorrow first, so Season 2, Episode 10. The Legion of Doom. The Legends must find the Spear of Destiny before they can rescue Rip, while Malcolm and Damian realize that Thawne is pitting them against each other. I just want to say, well, Dpalm, you wanted to go ahead and say something before we started this, right?
I hope everyone stuck around and got to see our producer credits at the end of this motherfucker, because our producer checks haven't arrived yet.
Yo, I'm still waiting on these checks, man. I'm still waiting on these checks. Like, no, literally the last episode was us going, man, you know what? Damian and Malcolm serve like henchmen, and this just doesn't seem like Malcolm and Damian. I wonder if they're going to address that. So, literally the next episode is them talking about something.
They didn't just address it. They literally took them from how they even addressed how we'd seen them on screen before now.
Mm-hmm.
They made them look like henchmen at the beginning of the episode, and they didn't just like force us into thinking they're of something different. They showed the evolution of them thinking of themselves as something different, which made it a really powerful episode, in my opinion.
Right. No, it's a great episode because you do that. You have literally at one point, it's funny that Rip or Phil, could he still Phil pointed out to him, like, when they're having that in the middle of their fight, he's like, yo, Malcolm, you want to change your past, and Damian, you want to change your future. And, you know, I'm like, yo, that's actually true. That's really what it is, because Malcolm's past is what fucked him over and got him handless, and he's basically been second string to everybody since season 1 of Arrow. And, you know, Damian, well, you had a good run, and then you died. Your future sucks.
That's one of the things about Merlin, is that he ascended to Raish. He was Ra's al Ghul.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, it's been one-note comedy. How do you keep breaking into the goddamn Arrow Cave?
Right.
And I thought that this went a long way in saying, this is the Merlin you remember. Like him fighting Dark with 2 swords and him only having 1. That was another great little subtle, like, I was Ra's al Ghul. Mm-hmm. Like, please don't get it twisted.
And I love him, like, oh, how I miss this, you know?
Yeah, right.
And I love, like, you know what the problem with this episode is? I'm gonna give you the problem with this episode right now. The problem with this episode is, I want more Legion of Doom. I don't really care a fuck about the Legend no more, yo.
Like, yo, the intro was much cleaner with just 3 logos. I was like,
dude, like, that's the problem with this episode is, I don't know where you go from here, because it's like, I like Dame. Like, we'll get to the Black Flash thing, but them working with Thawne to take down the Black to get the Black Flash locked in that room. I'm like, yo, that's right. You know what? I'm like, wait, we haven't seen the Legends. Like, the Legends didn't leave the ship other than Stein. Like, they didn't.
It was just them talking.
Right. It was literally an episode of them talking. You know, and that was it. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys have a problem, because now next season of Legend of Tomorrow needs to be the Legion of Doom and just that, because this was amazing. Yeah, man. I like their
what they did was,
go ahead. Sorry.
I was saying they traded the problem of me not caring about the bad guys to in 1 hour being like, well, fuck these good guys.
Right. Right. Like, I just love the back and forth between Damian and Malcolm, right? Because, like, Damian's always like disrespecting Malcolm, and Malcolm's always like, and Damian's like, oh, well, yo, here he goes again. He's going to talk about how he was for Ra's al Ghul, again. And then Malcolm's like, yeah, should I remind you how you're dead again? Like, they're just a bunch of assholes to each other the entire episode. I mean, even down to when Malcolm's the first one to go, hey, listen, you know what? Thawne's a problem. We need to come together and focus on him. And they're talking in the bank, and Damian's listening to him, and all of a sudden Damian goes, come on, man. You think I'm stupid? This is such a cliche. 2 against 1. You turn each other against each other, and that's how it goes. No, I'm not doing this. This is a cliche. And you're thinking in your mind going, well, he's right. It is actually a TV trope and cliche that would happen. And the way they pulled it off, though, it's great. It's fucking great. And you get to see these 2 former members of the League of Assassins, and they're different. They're different methods. Damian is way, in a way, darker and way more violent. You know, his whole thing of, oh yeah, let's just torture Rip. Rip doesn't know anything. Oh, we'll keep torturing him. There's always another level to go.
Maybe he'll figure something out.
Yeah, it's like, no, literally, there's nothing in his brain. You can't get anything else out of it. Oh, we'll see. Why not? It make me feel better. You know, like his thing to Rip. You know the thing I love about torture, other than like everything. It's like this dude is dark. And then
how much time do we have? Like, God
right,
damn, Damien.
Right, and then Malcolm, on the other hand, he's again the magician. He uses hypnosis. He uses regression therapy. Even in their way of going into the bank, he wanted to limit the amount of a bloodshed. Didn't want to go in and kill everybody. Not that he couldn't do it, but it's just he has this. He's more, if it will, he's more of the ninja, if you will. Like it goes back to the whole joke of him always ended up in the Arrow Cave with all of the League of Assassins. Like, how the fuck are you getting into these places, man?
Right.
That's him versus Damon. Is just like, why can't we just kill everybody? We can do it. We're both League of Assassins. Why not? It's like, dude, you're in the future. You still think, oh, okay, all right. Like, the confidence on Damien is just fucking absurd, yo.
And he has none of the magic stuff that made him such a formidable foe. Like, I like that insight into Damien because it's like, oh, you're a dickhead even without these powers.
Right. So, without the magic, you're still a murdering son of a bitch. Oh.
Yeah, and Merlin's like, no, we'll sneak in. He's like, we could just kill everyone. He's like, I suppose we could. Like, what? Did you miss, like, stealth day of assassination training? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? We're ninjas.
Yo, I love
ninjas.
The second time they go in and they actually do kill everybody, and Damien's like, this is what I told you we should have done the first time. It's like, yeah, we didn't have to kill, I didn't want to kill everybody. It's like, why? You know you like it. And I'm just like, well, Merlin, you do kind of like killing everybody, though. So, there is that. But it's... Just seeing those two alone was great. And their interactions, because it goes back to what we were saying last episode, look, you need to feel some kind of reason why they're there. And would these two people that have led their own organizations really want to be henchmen? And the answer is, fuck no. You know? And I love the fact that both of them show that this episode on some, yeah, we're not going to play this game. You know? Not really, like... Merlin shows that Merlin has his ability to look deaf in the face and not act like he's scared. Like that moment of tension when he told Damien that, no, I don't consider you a threat, but in the back behind his back is gripping that fucking knife, waiting to fucking strike. I'm just like, yeah, man, these are two on their own. They're a fucking problem.
I loved that scene because I really did buy Merlin not seeing him as a threat. Like, look, you are a member of the League of Assassins. I sent into a race shop. I was the final race.
Right.
I led this group. Like, this is fun, and your machinations to overthrow me are adorable. I'm literally not threatened by you.
Right. Yeah. So I just love that whole thing. And you know what's great about this too? It makes it even better. As much as Merlin's saying that, and much as he's saying he doesn't feel that way, I kind of took it another way. Remember, Merlin did work for Damien.
Right.
But this Damien doesn't know that because he's taken from an earlier point in the future.
Well, plus it was Damien with all the magic power. Exactly.
So, you know, it's a very interesting dynamic to see this because Malcolm knows so much more of Damien's future, and Damien is he's just the murder. Like, I love when he showed up in Malcolm's living room. He's basically like, the great Malcolm Merlin, I'm not impressed. And he goes, oh yeah, you know, I heard 2016 is not my year. It's like, yeah, you died, so it's not your year, yo.
He died because he was stupid.
Yeah. You were kind
of.
He
died because Sarah told you, really.
Yeah, well, and you were kind of a dick, so
that's very true.
You kind of had that one coming. All right, and then you add in we had that we really wanted to see, but then we also brought up the whole thing about Thawne. We were like, listen, they got to start explaining to us what's going on with Thawne.
Right.
And holy shit, did they?
Like this, all the things that we said, I hope they pick up on, like, well, you know, the Eddie Thawne thing, and then the scene at the end of last season's Flash with the Black Flash emerging. Right. You're like, oh, what is that? They pulled up a lot of those threads and made it make sense in this episode, and Yeah, my quibbles about this season of Legends are all done. I'm done. I'm in for the ride now.
Right. Like when as soon as Thawne goes, like, and I love how they did the scene where they have him basically about to explain it, and then you have the legends who are literally just sitting around talking this entire episode. When Mate goes, maybe he's running from something. I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. If he's running, and he was like, he's running from time. I'm like, oh god, if he's running from the fucking Black Flash, that'd be cool. They did it.
I needed to make that jump. I was like, oh, he's running from like the timeline fixing itself.
I thought that.
But you're right.
Yeah.
It's so much better with it being a Black Flash.
Right. I was like, yo, if they say, I'm not thinking, in the back of my mind, I'm going, that's cool. It'd be really cool if he's running from the Black Flash. Right? Yeah, just let it go. And then when Damian actually said he was running from him, I was like, oh, son of a bitch, they're going to fucking do it. They're going to fucking do it. And I lost my shit, man. I was like, these assholes. And then even better, that this Thawne is the Thawne that Barry pulled from the timeline when he saved his mom.
Right. So I like that point of clarity too.
So this is the Flashpoint Thawne. So that's even better. That makes it sense. That makes even more sense as to why he was not affected by Eddie killing himself and what's going on here, and how he's able to try to outrun this. Like everything made so much more sense then. And I'm just like, oh man, makes sense why you need the Spirit of Destiny. He needs to change reality. He can't just go back in time. He has to stop. He has to change reality so that Eddie doesn't die. You know, and so that he's not erased. And then like everything came together because for the longest time I'm sitting there going, how the fuck do these people not know it's Thawne? Like there's one Flash that travels through time all the time. How the fuck do the legends not pick up that it's Thawne? How did Barry not tell them? And then all of a sudden I'm looking at the team. I'm like, son of a bitch. The only one that knows this, the only one that knows Earbod is Stein. And Stein with the one that goes, oh, it's Earbod Thawne. Like that small little detail there, because nobody else on the team was around that first season. Only Stein was, because
he watched Eddie die.
Exactly. So that he's the only one. So when they started going around, well, it's got to be somebody who doesn't exist in the time stream, blah blah blah, and all of a sudden it clicks in Stein's mind and goes, oh, it's Thawne because he's erased from the timeline. Like it made some. I'm not gonna lie. For about half the episode, I was annoyed at their little board trying to figure out who the speedster was. I was like, how do you guys not have Reverse Flash on there? Like that is the reason why you have a Flash. That is the reason why.
I thought it was really good because they were like, oh no, every speedster they run into is either dead or never existed. And like they address it early and then they write it off. But then Stein's like, wait, if he's trying to change reality, this is who it could be. I like that. I know what you're saying, but for me it felt good because I felt like they were like, why would you trace the threat of a dead man?
Oh no, it made sense to like it. It annoyed me at first until I realized what was actually, because again, we've seen Thawne since then, so we don't recognize him as erased from the timeline. But then I looked at it from their point of view. I'm like, oh wait, no, he's erased. He doesn't exist. So why would you think that a guy who doesn't exist is going around racing through time, changing, doing all this stuff? But it all came together beautifully. Like this is exactly what we were asking for last episode. We were like, hey, we need them to kind of stick this and explain Malcolm and Damian working with Thawne and being henchmen. We need them to explain what the hell they're chasing after the Spirit Destiny and what Thawne gets. Because it makes me wonder. It's like, I think Thawne might be able to do it. Like, I'm legit thinking that the end of the season is Thawne able to change his reality because you want to keep Thawne around on the Flash, and this is a way to solve that.
100%. I like that they keeping Thawne as this ever-present, multi-timeline threat. Like it makes him, because what you may, I don't know if you've gone back and watched season 1 in a while, but Barry's way faster than Thawne now.
Yes.
Like way faster. And the best way for him to be a threat now is to have this understanding and mastery of time. And I like how they address that. Like Barry, Thawne likes to keep his plan to himself. Mm-hmm. Is almost like a reverse Flash episode because he's learning now that if I let people in, they can help me.
And not only that, then they also address why, hey, you have a speedster who can travel through time, who can literally take everybody out. Why doesn't he just go out there and do it all himself? They explain all of that. Even in this episode where they're like, yo, how about you stop running and maybe the Black Flash can't find you?
It was so funny because they had the plan ready. It was like, are you gonna do what we say? You think you can help me? Is that a yes?
Yeah.
and they basically used the Jurassic Park,
Yes.
first Jurassic Park, don't move and the Tyrannosaurus can't eat you thing.
Yes. And I'm not gonna lie, that scene was terrifying. Like, I know it's villains. I know it's villains, and I know Earbothon is an evil fucking son of a bitch. But that scene was goddamn terrifying, because the Black Flash looks goddamn terrifying, yo. His face is eaten away. Like, he is fucking scary as fuck.
So I was nervous that they were gonna because when we last saw Zoom, that's what the face started to decompose.
Yeah.
And then the wraiths got him, and you saw the flash of him turn red, and he goes to the Speed Force.
Yeah.
And you think to yourself that, they're gonna fix him up and make him like a true proper Black Flash. Mm-hmm. No. This is a corpse in a flash suit.
Yes. Yeah.
This is a corpse in an admittedly cooler looking flash suit. I'm sorry, the black and red looks great.
Yeah, no, that scene was goddamn terrifying.
I feel like when he meets Barry, he's gonna feel like Peter did the first time he met Miles. Like, I get it, separate realities. Why is your costume so much better than mine?
Right. Right. Listen, yeah, I saw somebody writing online, like, it was an article, was like, who is the Black Flash? I'm like, are you serious? Did you guys not watch last season of Flash? We know how that happened. We know where that came from. And again, I love that this show and these CW shows do things like this. Like, this is a huge reveal that came from last season of The Flash.
Right.
And it makes so much sense as to what the Legends are doing, what's going on here. Like, that's perfect. That makes sense. And then when you think back to Barry's message about the war and stuff like that, I'm like, yo, it makes sense that the Legends would be deeply tied to the Flash with all the time traveling because speedsters fuck up the timeline.
Oh shit, Barry left them a message this year.
Yeah. Oh shit, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. Hey, look, Barry still got to create Gideon at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's something that blows my mind. Gideon's on the Wave Rider. Gideon, they have a Gideon, or I don't even know. Do they still have Gideon in? No, they don't have a Gideon on the Flash anymore.
No, the Time Vault.
Yeah.
Earbud stole the AI. Excuse me, at the end of season 1.
Right. So at some point, Barry's got to create Gideon. For it to be stolen, and
right.
This is all like, oh my god, like it's
perfect time travel.
It is, man. Like this was fucking great. And again, we're doing all of this. We haven't even gotten into what the Legends did because I don't give a fuck, yo. I'll be honest, I don't give a fuck. Like the only thing of significance was Stein being a dick about his daughter, and look, for a guy who's so smart, Stein is an idiot. Stein is an idiot and a dick. Like you are.
He knew Mick was going to tell though. He called it.
Yeah, well, because Mick's the only one with any sense. I love that Mick did it in such a fucking asshole way.
Oh, idiots.
Fake food for a fake person. Good God, Mick.
As he drinks his fake beer.
Right, as he drinks his fake beer. What a goddamn savage, yo.
Just the worst. He's the worst because he's the best. Mick's Mick. If he got mad, it was like, well, he is Mick. Like,
right.
He kind of went. What did Mick do? He went Mick.
Right. He just did Mick.
Went full Mick.
And you know what? Here's the thing. Even though Stein called it, I'm not gonna. It was a perfect episode. It was a perfect way of unveiling it. Because I'm not gonna lie, I thought Ray was gonna. The entire time I'm going, Ray's gonna say something stupid. Ray's gonna say something.
Because Ray was like low key flirting with the time aberration.
Right. And I'm like, Ray's gonna say something stupid. Ray's gonna say something stupid. Ray's gonna say something stupid. Then Mick goes and says, I'm like, God damn it, Mick. Way to live up to your savagery.
It's like when the whole demons is staring at Steph Curry and he flicks it out to Draymond. Who is the three? My God! Wait a second.
Right? Come on, man. Come on. What are we doing here, yo? But yeah, it's like, Stein, like, stop being like, he is a smart idiot, and it's just what it is. Because the whole idea of going back and telling your daughter, not telling you about it, first of all, and then even when she approached him about being a time apparition, and he then started going on the tangent about, well, what reality is really real? And isn't that an I'm like, oh my God, dude, you are so being a terrible dad right now. So being a terrible dad. Stop it. Just stop it. This is why you didn't have kids, because you are
That's the,
not.
are you cheating on me? That's the, are you cheating on me? Well, cheating's such a strong word. I like to think of it as,
right.
alternative relationshiping.
Does emotional cheating count? I mean,
Right, because we can have a conversation there.
Right. I mean, it'd be the Colossus Kitty thing. Well, I mean, technically, I was on another planet and I was under the influence, and she died. So did it really count?
Mr. President, are you currently receiving a blowjob? Currently, no. Oh, no. That'd be disrespectful on television, all y'all.
Define the word.
No.
Define the word is.
In all of its conjugations.
Right.
Did I receive a blowjob earlier? Not today, no. Why do you ask?
I mean,
earlier? No.
Like in my perspective, I did have the largest inauguration in history. I mean, from where I was standing, just come on. Look, we're using alternative. Hey, listen, if we can have alternative timelines, we can have alternative facts.
This is an actual fact that, I'm sorry to put this into this podcast. No one's going to hear it because, it's this podcast. But there was a tweet up by Fox News this weekend that said, anti-Trump protesters are getting more brazen. And they showed a picture that said, no fascist USA. And someone tweeted, that says fascist. You said Trump.
Yeah, I saw that. I was just hit dogs, right? Hit dogs. Kind of told yourself there. We didn't.
And that's what Stein did here. He's the hittest of dogs. Like, Dad, am I supposed to exist? Huh?
Right.
What? Oil.
Right.
Oil.
You cooking?
Black bush all over again.
Right. And I love that Jax is the younger kid and going. And I love that Jax is the one that got to give Stein, the old white guy. Now, the young black kid got to give the old white guy a pep talk, yo. Like, all right, man.
Look, I can see inside your head, right?
Right. Oh, man. He's got to give him the pep talk. You got to give him, listen, this is what being a father is. You got to, he's giving him, I'm like, come on, man. Why Jax got to be the one to tell this old white dude?
Well, okay.
I like it, but
remember last season, he got to meet his dad.
Oh, you're right. Oh, shit. I forgot.
He got to interact with his own father who died fighting for the country. The idea of fatherhood means a lot to Jax.
You know what? I completely forgot. I liked it, and I like that Jax is in this role. I completely forgot he met his dad.
I didn't think about it until you said it just now, honestly.
Oh, man. I completely forgot he met his father last year, right before he died when he went overseas. Shit. Damn, man. Getting me right there in the chest. Oh, man. Yeah. Whew.
And I loved him. I loved the fact that Stein didn't in so many of these shows, they fight the advice. He immediately saw what Jax was saying was right and went right to his daughter. I loved that. Mm-hmm. And then I really loved him being like, well, in the spirit of true honesty, I'm half of a nuclear-powered superhero called Firestorm. And she's like, Dad. And he's like, well.
Oh, so you know at some point she's going to be around when they turn into Firestorm and go, he wasn't lying.
Oh, yeah. I'm really waiting for that line. They need to say that for the last episode of the season, but just not even he wasn't lying, just huh. Yeah. What's wrong? Nothing. I just, huh.
You know what? As much as I get on Stein for being a jackass, I do like the fact that they've done a pretty good job with the storyline. I mean, this one they started with when he kept running into his older self, and now they've turned it into a legit thing. Where not only is it a legit thing now, but she's honestly, what happened here? She helped them be able to upload the data from the device from the artifact into Gideon, so they can map it. So it's like this time apparition actually helped them. is gonna help them. So I like that they've kind of integrated it, so it's not just a throwaway line, a throwaway thing.
So are you also convinced they're gonna have to kill her?
Not convinced they're gonna have to kill her, but
I'm not convinced she makes it to the season. How about that?
Oh man, that would be rough, man.
Well, because I think one of the appeals of the show is that, particularly with these look at the rip stuff from last season, is that sometimes time is immutable. Mm-hmm. And creating a new person from cloth is a tough one. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it has to be this way or that it's going to be this way. it just sets up in a way that makes me ask the question.
Yeah, no, I mean, because here's the thing, I wouldn't put it past them because they're doing so much with her,
Right?
And yeah, they're doing so much with her. It's weird. Yeah, yeah, that would be rough, man. That would be rough. You know what they could do? What if Stein dies?
Ooh, make her the half of Firestorm?
And make her the other half of Firestorm.
Ooh, I like see, and that's the thing here is that they've done this. First of all, I don't want Victor Garber not to be on television.
Right.
So
I'm not saying I'm not just throwing it out there. I'm just
they've created, like, you're right. They've created a world of possibilities where, like, anything could, and I hate saying this, but anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Anything can happen. Like the fact that last week we thought we had a Laurel reveal, and that was entirely based on the idea that, oh, of course Sarah saved her.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all willing to accept it, but us watching, we were immediately like, this feels fishy.
Right.
Now I'm saying, like, Lily's here now, yes. But could Lily be here to serve a purpose? And could part of that purpose be to erase herself from the timeline?
Yeah, could be. Could be. I mean, again, she's just as smart. Like, there's so many things you can do with this. Like, and well, here's the thing too. Can you erase? Because you got to think about everything she's working on. She's not just some regular timeline person that doesn't do anything. She's actually, like, she's sciencing the shit out of things.
Well, yeah, and so
she's creating
that was the moment where she stopped being just a time aberration and being an integral part of the new timeline they're building.
Yeah.
Which is why I think Sarah was like, oh, I know all about her. Why the fuck's she on the ship? I thought we were trying to minimize the effect she could have on the timeline. Dr. Stein.
Right. Oh, God, he's such an ass. He's such an idiot.
He sets all these rules and was like, oh, that was rules for you.
Oh,
I'm on that fuck.
He is peak old white guy, right? The rules apply to everybody else but Stein, yo.
If Stein ends up being a time-traveling Barry Allen, that makes all the sense in the world. If he's like low-key future Barry Allen, mind wiped us into the past, that makes sense.
Barry Allen he goes back, he gets on Barry for changing the timeline. I learned it from you, Dad.
He just starts weeping. Learned it watching you.
Oh, man. Oh, so good. All right. So, end of the episode is basically them getting the Legion of Doom. Sarah's still not calling them that, but I'm going to call them that. Getting all the Rip's memories that he had put in the vault. They have
MacGuffin device.
Yeah. You say what now?
In the MacGuffin device.
Oh yeah, MacGuffin device. And they and you see that Thawne is rewriting certain things in Rip's memories to basically go back and kill General Washington.
Can I say something really quick?
Go ahead.
It's my favorite DC television show of the week. Again, I'm letting Supergirl stack up and just gonna binge again. So bear with me on that. I don't know how that ended up, but this was both. You got the perfect balance of the darkness of Damien Dark, obviously being this over the top, kill crazy monster. But then you've got like these lighter moments with, again, Barrowman and Damien Dark, who just carry the episode really well. But the stuff on the Legend ship was great, and you get the emotional resonance of Lily and Stein. But at the same time, you've got Vic, you've got Mick in the background, like, think I make anything, huh? 6-pack of beer. And he only gets them 6 packs at a time, which I thought was interesting. I was like,
yeah, you're right.
This is low-key an alcoholic who wants to be social. Because if not, he would like, give me 2 cases and lock himself in his room. This is a social drinker, and I applaud Nick.
It's a call for help, man. Come on. He's asking for a 6-pack of beer.
Not so much help. He's not saying I have a problem. He's like, I'd rather share the beer. No one's asking to share, but if someone wants to share, I've got a beer for them.
It's a quiet invitation.
I'm going to keep coming back to this fabricator in case someone says, hey, Mick, I'd love to crack one with you. Number one guess is probably Vixen, because she seems very, very fed up with all this future shit.
Yeah, no, she is. Yeah. She's completely done. She is completely done with the future shit. Oh man. Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to this, man. This is good. I'm glad they got what they did with this, and yeah, man. Legion of Doom, man. Like this is the problem with the show going forward now. where do you go with everybody else without them? Because like I just need a Legion of Doom show now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like you give me time traveling Malcolm Merlin, Damien Dark, and Earball Thawne in a show, I'll watch the fuck out of that shit, man.
I'm sorry, but you put Neil McDonough and John Barrowman in a show, like that's a show I would watch.
Dude, what if they end up succeeding, right?
Yeah, when Neil McDonough starts yelling about how much he loves torture, I was like, this guy is an acting monster.
No, he's an actual monster.
He's I was like, I don't know if he's acting anymore. Neil McDonough has his two teenage drifters tied in his trailer, so between takes he can torture them.
Yeah,
I can't prove it's not true.
No, like when I'm wondering, yeah, it's true. Yeah. Oh man, yeah. Like, I'm wondering, because you got to remember, I'm wondering if something goes bad here with the Legion of Doom. Because remember, Malcolm Merlin and Damien Dark, Damien Dark had a thing against the League, you know, when he was kicked out.
He was kicked out, I think.
He was kicked out. So, when he was plucked out, was he already kicked out of the League? I guess he was already kicked out of the League at this point.
He said 30 years in the past, so I don't even know.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just interested to see where they go with this. And as long as they have these three on the show, I'm in anyway. But you put these three on the show, I'm definitely in. Like the Legion of Doom is, yeah. I didn't realize that I wanted them as bad as I wanted them after seeing this shit.
I didn't realize how many more members I wanted.
Yes.
And that's the other thing is that as we think about those prospective members being Lynn Snart top of the list and probably Black Siren. Yo, they're way more interesting than Legends.
Right. Oh, my God.
And, like, the acting's way better on that side of the table.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's way better because the Legends have obviously all grown on me, but, like, they can walk in with that cast and stuff like, done, print it, make the show.
Yeah. It's, oh, yeah.
Like, if you decided to do next season of Legends, not as Legends, but as Legion, which, by the way, is a great way to bring the Legion into this show somehow. Like, 31st Century, just call it Legion and have it, like, and promo it with the bad guy logos, but the first episode ends with the Legionnaires showing up, like chasing down to save the Legends. Sorry, I'm just over here just writing the story I want to watch. Well, don't mind me.
Well, we know they listen to us, and yeah, so
I need a Legion. We've seen a Legion flight ring on that ship, right?
Yeah, we have. So
okay then.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
When you talk about time travel in DC Universe, we're all just holding our breaths until the Legion shows up. And we seem to be dancing around them because they said they were in the 25th century where the vault was, I think.
Yeah.
And then they said that, the invention that he used to steal his mind wouldn't be invented for another 2,000 years, which puts them outside the 31st century. I see you, DC. You're not slick. I'm watching.
Oh, man. All right, man. Anything else you got to say about this one?
No, I don't know how they're doing it. I did not like the show last season. I'm not going to lie. We slawed through it. We said there were problems. They've addressed all the problems. They've created new problems. They've addressed all of those. Yeah. I'm here to the rest of the season unless they do something absolutely nuts next week. I got no reason to doubt them. They're approaching the most reliable hour in DC programming, which I never thought I'd say.
Yeah. We already know that they get a third season, so we're back for next season. So we're already there. We're just enjoying the ride right now. So. All right, let's move on. And
they haven't had to really, like, we're going to talk about Arrow in a second, and we've talked about Flash Arrow this week. Both those shows, less Arrow this year, but they kind of have a tendency to get bogged down with the seriousness of their own narrative.
Right.
And while this is very serious, as we got the villain motivation established this week, it never feels like I didn't leave that episode feeling weighted down. I felt like, oh, cool, what's next? What's next week?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's because of Barrowman and McDonough.
Yeah.
It's like you put those
that was a huge
like even in the most serious moments, they just have this way of lightening the tone, even though it's dead. Like you see the fear on Thawne's face when he's just like, "Yo, guys, we're all about to die." He's like, "Oh, come on, we got this. 2 members of the League of Assassins, we're fine. We'll handle this," and they do, man. Not gonna lie, that their plan of Malcolm shooting the arrow, Dark throwing the sword, and then Thawne punching the Black Flash into the thing. That was tough, yo. That was, God, this show, man. So good. So good. So good. So, I do have an email, but we'll read it because it also includes Arrow, so we'll read it at the end of this. You ready? Anything else you want to say about Legends?
Let's get right into it.
All right. Arrow, season 5, episode 11, Second Chances. Talia Al Ghul helps Oliver take down Kovar, but he isn't sure he wants it when she reveals what she requests in return. That's a terrible fucking. What the fuck? That's not even. I mean, it happened, but not. No, okay, whatever. All right. I'm gonna start with the negative because you said that there's something that's gonna ruin this episode for me. I gotta know what it is now.
It's gonna make you ask a lot of questions.
All right, let's go with it.
So, end of the episode,
Mm-hmm.
we get the reveal that our new Black Canary's real name is Dinah Drake.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us cheered internally because, as you may know, the Golden Age Black Canary's name was Dinah Drake. Dinah's a pretty unique name.
Mm-hmm.
But this is no short of the fourth Dinah we've met. And at least the second Dinah Drake. Dinah Laurel Lance was Laurel's full name.
Right.
Her mother's name was Dinah Lance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, her maiden name was fucking Drake. We thought that was a nice tip of the cap to the Golden Age then. I've got questions. What are we doing?
We're cleaning up everything, man.
By creating another Dinah Drake?
That's gonna that kicks ass and is better than all of them.
Look,
yes,
this is the closest iteration of Black Canary we've gotten. I will not fight you on that. I need an explanation. Like she needs this. Her arc ends with her time traveling back and becoming Dinah Lance's mother. That's the only way.
Look, man. Here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you right now, and this is why you said it was gonna ruin me. I'm glad this is that's the thing. Because here's the thing. Hey, don't sweat the small stuff, yo. Like that's my answer on that one. I don't care.
More small stuff. Dinah Drake looks like a fighting-sized woman, which only points out how small Renee is.
Valid.
So Renee looks itty-bitty next to Oliver.
Look. We need to address the fact. We call him Wild Dog. Should be Wild Runt. All right.
Chihuahua.
Wild Chihuahua. Yeah, all right. He's got a lot to make up for. All right. Look, man. We said it last week. If you're gonna do another Canary, you better make it fucking good. You better. And they open with basically how she got her powers.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, cool. You guys got me, guys. You did it. All right. I think you finally got a winner. You finally got a winner. You know, as soon as I saw that they were going back 3 years to when the particle accelerator blew up, I was like, oh, they're going to show us how she got her fucking powers. And, like, they basically are, we've talked about this before with this season. This season is basically them kind of restarting Arrow, almost like a soft reboot, and giving it the origin we need. And this episode is all of that. We're getting how Oliver became the Arrow. We're getting, a correct Black Canary with actual metahuman powers and who can kick ass. Like, Oliver says it right when they're looking at it. He's like, she's more skilled in hand-to-hand combat, and she can focus the Canary Cry better than Black Siren can.
Well, let's be real here for a second. I never loved... Laurel was fine. I really liked the character. Yeah. And part of her problem was that one of the original premise of the show was there'd be 3 leads.
Right.
It'd be Laurel, Tommy, and Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
You saw what happened with the show as it evolved into what it is now. Kind of, if you don't have a relation point to Oliver, you have very little basis on the show. Because Laurel was established early on as a female romantic interest, it became harder to justify her space, particularly once they went full superhero, as you saw Felicity outshine her as a romantic interest,
mm-hmm.
as you saw Thea become the touch point for an emotional resonance that wasn't romantic. The question became, what the hell do we do with Laurel?
Right.
Then making her Black Canary as an echo of her sister's identity and as a way to remain relevant in Oliver's life never rang true for who Black Canary was. Mm-hmm. Black Canary's always been this independent hero who, before, after, during her dalliances with Green Arrow, was her own hero. She's the chairperson of the goddamn JLA at one point.
Right.
She's an independent, strong enough hero, and it always felt like Laurel as Black Canary was a support character.
Mm-hmm.
What they've done here is they've established we've got a Black Canary who's self-trained, self-taught, self-motivated, who does not necessarily need Oliver for direction, but needs Oliver for the same reason that this episode felt like a meta commentary on the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone deserves second chances.
Yeah.
Which is them saying to the character, to the people who said, this show jumped the shark, this show is done, last couple seasons have been uneven, all of which may have felt true.
Right.
This show is saying everyone deserves a second chance. They said it to you in the flashbacks and in the present day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here for it.
Yeah. I mean, the entire season is, hey, listen, and I remember when in the last season, Stephen Amell said this. He was like, listen, you know what? Season 5, you guys are going to, if you're a fan of the first 2 seasons, you're going to be happy with what we do in season 5. You're going to get it. You're going to see where we're going with it. Trust us. We're going to get everything back to you. And again, I believe that because Arrow always had the tough job. Arrow, first of all, you got to think about where Arrow came in. This is why I always have a softball for Arrow. Arrow first came in as the CW's attempt to do another superhero show after Smallville.
Yeah, and that's why the plan was for it not to be a superhero show.
Right. And whatever you feel about Smallville was big. Smallville had what, 8 seasons, 7, 8 seasons? Maybe more than that. So I wasn't a big Smallville person, but that's what it was. You know, they had all these other, they brought in a lot of other Justice League members into Smallville. So doing Arrow after that and making it more adult and more serious and more grounded, that was a tough task. And they came in that first season, it was great. The second season came in, they're like, you know what, we're going to try to do The Flash. We're like, I don't know how that's going to work because you've grounded this season and made it so it doesn't have superpowers. And they brought in Barry Allen, and it worked. He didn't have superpowers, and they just brought in Barry Allen. You're like, they can do this. And then that next season was Barry, the first season of The Flash. And you're like, wow. And that's season 3 and season 4 kind of where Arrow kind of lost its way, but it lost its way because it's trying to fit into... It was trying to redefine itself to fit to where Flash and then eventually Legend of Tomorrow and now Supergirl are fitting in at. Where are you going to fit Oliver Queen in? He's basically the Batman of this world. He has no superpowers. How are you going to fit that into the show? And season 5 is basically pulling all that stuff together, and I'm appreciating it so much.
100%. Me too.
Like the way they did this, name aside, the name they did. Tina Bolin. Let's go with that and make us feel better. The way they did that, like you said, she was her own character. She was an ex-cop. She's going on for revenge. She basically tells Oliver in the up front, like for 90% of this episode, I don't need you. Even down to when she's finally facing off against Asonis, and Oliver's like, what would I can't remember what the other dude's name was. What would
Vince or some shit.
What would Vince do? And she was just like,
what do you want you to do? You want me to shoot his ass?
Right. And she was like, I don't care.
You don't know him. You didn't know him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No. It was like, you know what he would do? He'd want me to kill. He'd want me to do this. And she shot him dead and then walked off. Like even the first time she met Oliver and them stopped her. She jumps off the side of a building. And I'm like, hey, remember the first time Laurel jumped off a building on top of a truck and she fell? I'll never forget that shit.
Low key, remember the last time Laurel was in the field? Still clumsy as shit.
Right.
So she was a liability. This Black Canary is an additive to the team, particularly because, as I was reminded last night, Renee a little fella. But I was as much as I showed Renee, him being like, I don't fuck with metas, and then being like, wait, we can still take the drugs on the street, right? I'm in.
Right.
I was like, okay. All right.
Look here, man. Low key, my new favorite odd couple, Renee and Curtis, man.
Yo, they get it.
Renee and Curtis are the odd couple, man. They're so good. Because they just don't work. Like when Curtis is like, oh, we got taking some crazies. It's like, who you talking about? You talking about me? You're talking about me, aren't you? That's what you're doing. You're talking, son of a bitch. And Curtis is like, well, yeah, I mean, you kind of are crazy. He's like, oh, well, you're right. You know what? Maybe it is about second chances. I like how that worked out, man. And I just like the fact that, like you said, if it wasn't for Sinus having his own powers, Donna would have been able to. She would have taken him out. She would have done all this. She didn't
need them.
She didn't need him until the last minute when they realized he was a mutant.
Okay, I need you.
Right.
And if that becomes her relationship with the team, I'm okay with that.
Right. Like, again, everything they did about this is just, it is the Black Canary people wanted. And again, I am a person who defends Laurel and her arc. as in context of what they started the show as. But I will take this new. I like this new Canary even over Sarah Lance. Shit, it's like got everything I want. She's not using the device for Canary. She actually has meta powers. Like it's everything you want. She got hand-to-hand combat. She's her own person, and honestly, she's on the same path that she doesn't need the team, but just like everybody else on the team, she's looking for a second chance and looking for she's going through the same thing Oliver went through. And I like that. I like how they did that. I like how they brought her in the team. I like how Oliver didn't force it. I like how Oliver was like, listen, we'll help you. And if you don't want to talk to us no more, we're gone. And when she killed Sean, he told Renee, hey, no, we're done. We're going. We're fine. Let her go. We'll come. If she comes to us, she'll come to us. And I love how they did that. Like that was fucking awesome. So, love that. So then the other thing we talked about last week was if you're gonna do Laura Lance, and there was another character we said if you're gonna do, you gotta explain the hell out of this.
Right.
Talia, yo.
Look. So far so good, Arrow. I'm still worried.
I'm worried, but like this is better than I expected. Like this is better than I hoped for. And I got more of her than I hoped. Like I thought they were explaining a little bit, but like when they said, "Oh yeah, you're wearing the hood of my former student," I'm like, "Oh, she trained Yao Fei. Okay, this is so now we're tied all the way back to season 1. Like we've come full circle now. And I love how he's like, "Wait a minute, how can you train him? You're half his age. Family secret." Oh man, and it makes you wonder. So you have Talia doing this. And now I kind of want to go back now and watch season 3 with Raish in that season because I'm like, wait, it seems like Talia's trying to get Oliver to go back. He wants him to go back to Star City and to go through that list that his father had. Was that the plan?
Why is she on the list?
Right. What was that the plan that Raish had for him at first? I can't remember. Because I'm like, that seems to make sense. Like, because you got to think about what's on that list. That list is basically taking out, I mean, granted, some of them are dirty, but it's taking out players in Star City. It's a way of cleansing Star City, if you think about the shit that the League of Assassins does. She's like, hey, listen, you have a list of people to go through already.
You think about it. Okay, so let's make some leaps. Not even leaps. Let's make some logical jumps here. The list is people who are involved in the undertaking.
Mm-hmm.
The undertaking was spearheaded by Malcolm Merlin, at that moment, an ex-member of the Legion of Assassins.
Yep.
So them knowing about it and wanting him stopped fits pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Like, this, it explains so much. And then it comes to my other thing now, too. Like I said last week, it's like, is Prometheus, is he the son of Talia? Because whether the son or whatnot, he got trained by Talia. We know that because Oliver said there's a move that Prometheus does. He's like, I learned that from a woman that taught me that in Russia. So we know that Prometheus got trained by Talia. So now the question is,
well, they've made us think that we've seen nothing to say that he was in Russia at the same time Oliver was, that she stayed in Russia. Like you're probably right.
Oh well, I'm not saying he got trained at the same time. I'm saying he got trained afterwards.
But a woman in Russia could be any member league. Like she was in Russia at that time.
Okay, yeah.
I know you're probably right. I just don't want to. I don't want to overcommit. The show. You never know. The other shows we watch have got me on my toes.
Right. you gotta be thinking about this, man. I don't know, man. Yeah. It just. Oof. And then, but my favorite part of this, like, Oliver goes John Wick in those flashbacks, man.
Yo, the Wickest.
Good God. Like, he used one dude as a human shield, shot another dude. Like, I was just like I was expecting Oliver to kind of have like to falter a little bit. I'm like, I know he's gotten better, but it's like, when did he learn to do that? Like, good God, he took out everybody and then beat the dude in the car with the gun. And the first time I watched it, I didn't realize why. Then when I watched it again, I was like, oh, the dude was trafficking young girls.
Look, I want to make something very clear. A pistol whipping is insanely personal. A pistol whipping to death. Ollie tightened up before he got back to Star City. I never all like Ollie was a serial killer in Star City. Ollie was something else before, so maybe we should be grateful that he stepped down this year with a list, which sounds awful.
This is reasonable, Ollie.
This is Ollie after therapy.
This is quick death, Ollie.
Yeah, this is nice, Ollie, man. Ollie being real peaceful with y'all now, like.
Oh man, yo, like Ollie, he blinked the fuck out in that scene. I was just like, ugh. And Talia just sitting there looking at him like, this is why I'm like, yep, she has something else she's trying to do, and
of course,
yeah, it's just like you, nervous because who knows? Because you're using Talia Al Ghul, and this is tricky territory. But at the same time, I'm like, so far, so good. Like, I like how they did that. I like how they tied it in. And I like how they tied it into this current episode. And the whole idea of becoming something new and second chances and things like that. And it also explained something that they kind of glossed over the last 2 seasons, which is, all right, Ollie was off the island. Why didn't he go back home? And you have him explain here. It's like, he thinks he's a monster. He doesn't recognize himself. And he had no way of reconciling that. What Talia basically tells him is basically become the monster as the hood in this case, and then be Oliver Queen when you need to be. And it explains why those first 4 seasons we saw Oliver struggling so much with his 2 identities. He was still he was still giving in to that monster side. Like, it explains so, like, again, these flashbacks here have been so good because they explain so much as to how we get the Oliver Queen we get in season 1, y'all. It's well done. Very well done.
100%.
Also, quickest Flash crossover I've ever seen.
What? Oh, Sing.
No, yeah. When he calls Sing and he's like, how do I know it's really you? And Oliver texts Barry, and Barry shows up with the he's legit sticker. Bruh. Come on, man.
I hadn't really thought about it.
Like, I'm not gonna, because it's so quick to miss. It's such a fast little quick scene, and I'm like, yeah, we should do that more often. Like, it's an easy thing to do. It doesn't cost that much to do. You just have him in there. Yep, he's legit.
He's legit. All right, well then, the sticker says you're good.
Yeah, right. He's like, I like how at this point we're now 3 seasons into the Flash. So Captain Singh just goes, yeah, of course. He's just like, of course.
All right, then come with me.
Yeah, of course you're legit. Yeah, of course you're legit. Of course. Nice trick. You got the Flash on speed dial. Okay. Yeah. So what other information do you need, Mr. Green Arrow?
Right.
Just, oh man. Last thing in here. Felicity back into hacking, and I think this goes back to what we were saying in the beginning of them finding new roles for different characters. And if you're not going to have Felicity as a love interest, at least not yet, you got to give her something to do. She's no longer head of Queen Consolidator or Palmer Tech. So what are you going to have her do? Get her back into hacking and make her a hacktivist again. I didn't think about that, but I'm like, that makes sense. And it makes you wonder, is Helix good or bad?
That's the thing, is that for so long, like you said, she was the head of the company, and then they gave her something else interesting to do with having the Detective Malone in that little wrinkle. Mm-hmm. But now they've wiped him out, and you've kind of awakened this. A lot of this season, the last 2 seasons, or especially this one, has been Oliver teaching other people to deal with their monsters, whether it be as blatant as Thea, or as subtle as the stuff with Dinah Drake. We will talk about that again before you leave. He's kind of taught people how, like, oh, look, I figured how to live with these monsters. You can too. Here's how. I think that it's going to be interesting to see how that influences the already established weird relationship between he and Felicity.
Right. And like I said, I like how the girl who was talking to her was like, yeah, you're kind of not doing that anymore. And she didn't, like, you can see that Felicity want to be like, Bitch, I'm helping the Green Arrow. Like, I'm doing this shit all the fucking time. What do you you don't know what I'm doing. But at the same time, you can see, like, Felicity was kind of like, well, you're kind of right. That used to be what I am, and I went corporate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and she went as big as corporate as you can fucking get. She became CEO of Palmer Tech. So, you know, it'd be nice to see where this goes and what happens with it. And, you know, yeah, I'm really interested in what they're doing with that. And they got Diggle at as well, too. So, dig back. So, I'm happy. With that. So.
Diggle out, Diggle free. They keep letting us forget the Vigilante's Vigilante, which is fine. The twist when it comes will be heartbreaking.
Right, you're right. That's
I see. Yeah. I get you.
Yeah, that's the thing I love about that. It's just like it's gonna be heartbreaking when they realize that Adrian is the Vigilante.
And if his story ends the way it ends in the comics, yeah. Which is what I think they're gonna do because they've made us like him too much. Like they gotta hit that twist because that's what Arrow does, and this is a twist that Arrow. It's a distance with which I'm not sure the CW is willing to let them go. But considering you've got a certain named character as the villain for next week's Flash of Clive Yorkin, I have to wonder how far will they let Arrow go with this in this vigilante story.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, before we get to the email, anything else you want to say?
Yes. Oliver found a Black Canary whose name is Dinah, who is as good a fighter as Oliver is, who's willing to relocate, and does not just have the same canary cry, but a better canary cry than evil Laurel Lance. Do we let Ollie buy the lottery tickets or what? How do we do this?
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth, sir. Just take it.
He just locked up a Dinah Lance. He got a Dinah Drake back with better powers and a better fighter who wants to be on his side.
Take it.
Let's go to the scratch-offs. Let's get some scratch-offs going. What numbers you want me to play, Ollie? If Ollie stopped mid-episode next week and looked dead in the camera and read 8 numbers, I'd be like, play these.
Listen, you got to take it, man. You got to take it.
I'm not saying he's wrong to take it. I'm just saying, like, share the wealth, Ollie. Like, clearly something's going right with you.
Something you did right. All right. Oh, last thing before I get the email. I love the fact that both Curtis and Oliver were discussing that Renee eating the 3 and 5 stack burger show. That's disgusting.
Yo, did you read this week's Batman?
No, not yet. I'm so far behind.
There's a great scene in there that you're gonna be like son of a bitch when you realize that these came out the same week.
Awesome. All right.
Bruce goes to a burger chain with Damian, Jason, and Dick.
Oh God. Say no more, yo. Say no more. Say no more. Say no more. Like the only thing missing was they needed to get a joke in at Renee. Well, you know, Renee is a growing young man. A growing young boy who needs his strength.
Little fella.
All right. This is an email from Latoya. Hey, Kriss and Dpalm. First of all, I gotta say, love your coverage of some of my favorite shows like Flash, Legend of Tomorrow, Arrow, and of course, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. You guys are insightful, fun, and fun to listen to, all while doling out constructive criticism. I play your episodes as soon as they post and consider myself part of the conversation while I listen. Well, thank you. I'm really glad that you enjoy these. Okay, so I want to send my feedback for this week because I was so impressed with both Legend of Tomorrow and Arrow this week. To be honest, both of last week's episodes really started to get on my nerve for different reasons. First of all, I began watching all these shows from the beginning, so I'm very familiar with Malcolm Merlyn. With Legend of Tomorrow, this season is clearly better than season 1 and Donkey Teeth, but it has done a fantastically terrible job neutering one of the baddest men on TV, and I was personally sick of it. I get that Legend of Tomorrow is a brighter show than Arrow, but I think that it does a disservice to his Malcolm Merlyn character. This week we got Merlyn back somewhat. You got to remember also that with Malcolm Merlyn, ever since he lost to Oliver, ever since he lost being Ra's al Ghul, he's kind of been a shadow of himself. You know, lost a hand, and he just
Yo, I'm surprised he let Dark live after that hand joke.
Right. I
was like, all right. He felt like when Charles told Shaq he couldn't fight.
Right.
I think later, okay,
right.
motherfucker.
Right.
We on TV.
I was happy that this episode centered on him and his lack of patience with the disrespect that Earball and Demon Dark had for him. We also got Dark Zoom, part of the explanation of Earball's character and Merlin's kill skills. Like I said, with Malcolm Merlyn, you got to remember how far he's grown. Like the beginning of this episode, you see him literally in a shitty ass apartment,
watching Damien get killed on standard death.
And remember, it's a shitty ass apartment. Remember the apartment that Thea bought with Oliver. I think it was either last season before. Was with Malcolm Merlin's money. So again, Malcolm Merlin had money. He at the beginning of this episode, you see him living in basically a rat hole. Watching, I want to say it wasn't even a flat screen TV.
Oh no, it wasn't. It was a standard def like bubble back. Like, it was really
right. Like how the mighty have fallen. But I think that's important to see because it explains why he's so desperate to change his past too. You need to see, and I think Legend Tomorrow did a great job of explaining that because before, like I said, we were looking at it, it's like, damn man, Malcolm's become even last season on Arrow, it became kind of a joke. And also, I think something we didn't mention, Damien kind of brought it out. You're seeing Malcolm has a flair for the dramatic, but he doesn't always want to kill everybody.
Right.
It's almost
his
like
dramatic is different.
Right. He doesn't do things like Damien Dark wanted to literally destroy the world. Malcolm Merlin wants to control. He wants the power. And even with outside of the undertaking, like that was his biggest thing about killing a bunch of people. But since then, that really hasn't been him. He's been more surgical, more precision.
Even
strikes.
the undertaking was done to establish control.
Right. So
he didn't want to destroy the whole city.
Right. He doesn't. His heart's not really all the way in it. And that's why you always see him sometimes be in that gray area. He's always in it for himself, but sometimes you'll see him helping Oliver and doing the stuff. He's always got an angle for himself, but he's doing that. For Arrow, I grow wary of the way they sometimes throw characters in the story they expect us to care about. For instance, I don't give a shit about Felicity's dead boyfriend. Valid. They didn't show him enough for me to care. Last week they threw in another canary in the storyline. I rolled my eyes hard, so hard I went blind for a second. Hey, listen, I think we were all very nervous last week when we saw another canary. And I think even
I'm still nervous.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Remember, and I think Renee brought it up. It's like, hey, listen, Evelyn, who we haven't seen since she betrayed everybody, come on. Let's see. So,
I love it when they bring her up, by the way.
Yeah.
It just feels like a really nice thank you. Someone's mentioning the fact that you were betrayed a month ago.
You were betrayed by a crazy young girl. However, her story development is one of the best they've ever done. It makes sense that she was screaming. She was a screaming meta because she was screaming when the particle accelerator exploded. I think she's finally a strong female character I could believe could join Arrow's crew. She kept beating the brakes off of every douche she encountered. Her scream didn't look silly, and they had to work to get her to join the group. Hell, I even thought they did a good job with her real name versus her undercover name. In addition, now they can finally stop with the stupid cornrows on Curtis. My Diggled out of jail. I really love that. I really love how the villain was a meta counterpart to Dino. Job well done, both shows. I have a question for you both. So Damien's big deal last season on Arrow was his involvement in magic. When does that come into play for him? Although we would have seen it by now. Also, how soon do you expect Dark Zoom to come back into the picture? Anyway, guys, sorry for the long email. Great coverage, and I look forward to your podcast. For the first one, we don't really know when Damien Dark went magic. Remember, this Damien Dark is the one that got plucked from, what was it, the 30s?
Yeah, it said 30 years prior to his death, so
yeah,
the 80s probably.
Yeah, so he got plucked, so we don't know. He might not have learned magic at this point yet. And so this is why he doesn't have it. So he might not know, but he's still deadly without it.
This could be the way that he finds out about the magic.
Valid too. Don't know, but this could be why. And then as far as Dark Zone, basically Black Flash, I think I'm guessing this is something that might persist for a while, even if because the only way, I don't think Black Flash can be defeated by Zoom. He's chasing after Zoom because Zoom shouldn't be there. So if Zoom can reverse reality and change reality and get Eddie not killing himself, then Black Flash was to stop coming after Thawne, but he should still exist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think Black Flash will be something that at some point Barry's going to have to deal with, and Barry's going to have to come to terms with that decision. Basically, what this is Legend of Tomorrow cleaning up what you did with an earball Thawne that was pulled out of the timeline but shouldn't exist.
Oh God, Chris.
Oh goodness, what are you thinking?
The Black Flash chases people who are supposed to be Tracy Speeds are supposed to be dead. And if our theory from earlier this week holds about Wally, what's a better sacrifice for Barry than taking that bullet for his semi-brother? Like, honestly, I need someone to clean up this family tree at some point.
Right.
He's dating his sister. No one else seems to care but me.
Well, yeah, I think the Black Flash at some point this season is going to end up back on the Flash. And who knows? And who knows? It could be Wally. It could be Barry. Could be Savitar. What is Savitar? We still don't understand what Savitar is. And again, Savitar somehow knows about Barry Allen from before. This is like, yeah. Like, I know people get fed up with the time travel on these shows sometimes, but when you have Flashes and you have Barry Allen, you have to have time travel, and it gets really, really super involved. But this is done so well. So, yeah, so that's what we had. I don't think we had any reviews on.
None reviews.
All right. Again, guys, send us an email, mtrailerreviews@movietrailerreviews.net, or send us a 5-star review on iTunes, basically iTunes. Don't send them on Stitcher Radio. We're not going to read them. We're not reading them on Stitcher, so I'm not going to do this. Send them on iTunes. Go to the Super Tuesday recap feed. Don't put them on other feeds. Super Tuesday recap feed. We'll read them off of there. Yeah, great week of shows, man. Between Flash, Arrow, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., Legend of Tomorrow. I didn't see Supergirl yet, but everybody was saying that Supergirl was really good this week too. Man, what a great week, man. What a great week.
Yeah, superb.
And we're going to the Super Bowl, and I'm gonna get over here now because I know Dpalm got some stressing to do, man.
It's been a long 24 hours. We're almost there. The John Lewis Bowl is upon us. This is probably going to go up after the game, so if the Falcons win, I apologize for the half podcast I recorded Sunday night about 4 a.m, covered in glitter and smelling of booze. If the Falcons lose, I'll see y'all next Sunday.
And again, check out the Unanimous Decision, guys. It is a great show. Everybody loves it. And Devon. And then next week we also got Character Corner, first of the Green Lanterns coming up.
Yes.
We're gonna get into that stuff. So we got plenty of stuff coming for you guys. Stay tuned. Thank you guys very much. And until next time, we're out of here. Peace.